pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, open up for visitor comments. Do you know this mic on? Yeah, I'm going to have them check the mic here just to make sure it's on. You can sit and state your name, please, for the record.
My name is James Willard. I live on the corner of Cowlitz and Strand. This city has allowed 2 different apartment complexes to be there for the residents. Currently, there is not enough parking for us, and Cowlitz Street is set at 2-hour parking. We've been getting tickets on our cars. Today, code enforcement came around and was writing tickets. Somebody had to wake me up because I work graveyard to move my vehicle because it had been there for more than 2 hours. There are over 40 residents that live there, and where code enforcement says we could park at, there's only 19 parking spaces. There's not enough parking for us. We would like to know if there's some possible way that we could get a residential pass to bypass the 2-hour parking, because currently in that intersection, there is only 2 businesses. Years ago, when it was created to be 2-hour parking, there was restaurants on the corners, on both corners of First and Cowlitz, businesses all across the street. But at that end on Cowlitz and Strand, there's only the physical therapist, and then around the corner there's the Thai restaurant. There's no other businesses that are open on that street now. We're curious if there's a way for us to be able to get passes from the city to not follow the 2-hour parking.
We had actually talked about that when we put in the 2-hour. Because we were worried about the residents that live upstairs.
Absolutely, because the bulk majority of us, probably 75% of us that live in the 2 buildings, have met and spoken with each other, and they asked me to come in here and speak to you guys, because with 19 parking spaces for us to park in, some people aren't like me. I have 2 vehicles. I can't even have my second vehicle parked where I live at because it's an inconvenience to everybody else. And the 2-hour parking is just, for us, it's absurd, because if we have to move every 2 hours to avoid a $25 ticket, it's sort of ridiculous. Is there some type of possibility that we could get permits saying that we're residences there, showing that, you know, we reside there in that intersection and we should be allowed to park there for more than 2 hours?
Susan?
We have just
We
discussed
talked about it a couple of times.
Yep. It's
Not my decision,
It's
it's
really
the
up to
council's
us.
decision.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had multiple times that the businesses down in that area have come to us and been very, very upset. And I know
About
they've
the
talked to the
parking,
counselors individually about not having enough parking for their businesses in the 2-hour, and want us to expand the 2-hour area. There is parking on First Street that is not restricted. So, you know, that's up to the council how you would like to
And I count 5
distribute
businesses,
those spots.
if you include.
Well, and the
roof.
city does lease the lot behind, you know, just close to 100 spaces, I think, back there.
Right. Over behind where
It doesn't
St.
have any
Penny's
kind
used
of
to be.
hourly restrictions on it.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
we understand there's a large parking lot.
Yeah, so all of First Street is not, it's all parking all day?
Yeah.
No,
From Cowlitz down to the gate is not
Okay.
2 hour, is it? From Cowlitz to the gate?
On the easterly side of the road is unrestricted hours.
On the riverside.
on the river side of the road, yeah.
Yep.
Which is about maybe 12 more parking spaces,
Yeah.
because they're lengthwise, not nose-in parking.
Do you use your second car frequently? You have 2 cars, is that
Yes.
right?
No, I have my second vehicle parked at a family member's home.
Okay.
Well, I'm just thinking of maybe a hardship of, if there was for, who, I guess we'd have to have something from the building owner of a car registered and a legal tenant on the lease.
I believe the Muckle building already has provisions in the tenant's lease that
Right.
they're not supposed to park in front of the businesses already. I haven't actually seen
Okay,
that,
but
but
one side of it, there are no businesses the length of the building.
No. You're
If
not
you
in the
look at 30
Muckle
Cowlitz
building.
Street, there's
Yeah.
5 parking spaces in front of it.
Yeah, you're across the street from the Muckle building now.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
You've
And
got
there is
the,
no provision in our lease that says that we're not to park on the street.
Yeah.
Right, I did, yeah.
well, there will be a business again on that corner on St. Helens, or on First Street, I'm sorry, First and Cowlitz. There will be businesses on both sides again eventually.
Eventually, yes.
And right now, you've got the roof also, which
Oh, I forgot
requires
about the roof,
parking.
ma'am, yes.
Yeah.
How many parking tickets do you have right now?
Gainers.
I have 0 parking
Uh-huh.
tickets.
Okay.
And
I
then,
watched code enforcement write tickets today.
Yep.
Because luckily one of my neighbors woke me up and was like, hey, I know your car's been here since the morning when you got off work. Because I generally get back about 5 minutes after 7.
Yep.
So they
then
came and woke me up at about 2 and was like, you might want to move your car.
so you've got the therapy place, and then you've got Gainer's place, and then you've got,
But I think the
Well-
biggest issue is, like
Another-
he says, because
When you
a
got
lot of
living
people
there.
work day shift, so it's not going to be an issue.
Mhm.
But it's people that work the overnight are the
Mhm.
problem. Is people that get home
Especially
from
when it
work at
comes to
9
me.
o'clock in the morning.
I come in before the parking spaces on Strand are open.
well, we have talked about resident
How
paths.
many residents in your facility? In your apartment house?
33, I believe.
Do they all own cars?
I believe the majority of them do. There are people that park up on First Street. There's people that park on Cowlitz up on the hill. There's people that park back in the parking lot over here. And I understand the city just rounded up a bunch of cars that were down here on Strand Street on the fence side. You know, they just towed a bunch of cars away from there.
Well, they've been there for 6
Ex-
months, 8
exactly.
months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're
not
grateful that they
moved.
did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're absolutely grateful. But currently, our concern is the lack of parking for us and the financial strain that it could cause on some of us if we start getting parking tickets for being down there.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to penalize people who are living down there.
Absolutely, I
That's not,
I understand
that's
that,
not
sir.
the point of the 2-hour parking. Point of the 2-hour parking is people who decide they're gonna park there and then go, possibly meet up with a friend and then have lunch and then leave their
Mm-hmm.
car there while they get in their friend's car where they met
Absolutely,
at the
but
dockside or the Klondike at the
The
time.
code enforcement people in the St. Helens Police Department, they don't know
No, they're following the,
who we are. They're following
code.
they're
That's-
following the
that's
code. They're
code.
following what the
Yeah.
law says.
yep.
So
And- Any ideas for a temporary solution by chance from the council? You know, the only thing I can think of is going across over to our parking lot over here on off of Columbia.
Yep.
I mean, across from the theater. That's the only thing I can think of at this point temporarily
so then
until all of the
if
until
I
all
have to
those.
park, if I have to park, let's say, I don't know, what is that, 1/8 of a mile from where I reside at? Is the city going to accept liability when somebody breaks into my 2010 Honda Accord?
No,
Nope.
we're
Then I
trying to
should-
find a place for you to park.
Then I should be able to park near my residence where I can keep
What
my
does near mean?
somewhere within audible sound of my car alarm. My vehicle is equipped with anti-theft, and if I can't hear it, it's pretty pointless to have it, correct? If I have to park so far away from where I reside.
So are you
Does Lauren
speaking,
own that building?
Yes,
Lauren owns that building,
yes,
right?
Lauren and Brenda, yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the short answer is, and I don't know how the rest of the council feels, is that we can have a conversation with the police chief and not be writing tickets this week until we have a solution. Because if the code enforcement person doesn't come Thursday and Friday this week, that gives staff and gives us a chance to come up with a proposal before next week.
Okay,
So then this guy knows that he can go to work and go to bed tonight when he gets home from work, and he's not going to get a ticket today. And so that gives him, and it doesn't apply to Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
It's just Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So if we give him Thursday and Friday to, like, we're just not going to write tickets this week,
Mhm.
we're going to figure out something before
And
Monday.
that doesn't apply to all of the residents either. This is just people
Right,
working outside of
But
the
I mean, we can
5.
figure out an answer and
Well-
just postpone writing tickets. Just we knew that when we implemented the 2-hour thing, there would be some adjustments and we'd have to figure it out.
I just want to make certain that you were clear on kind of your threat about liability.
No, I'm just asking.
No, we would not assume liability.
Okay,
That's it for sure.
okay.
That
Yeah, there was,
we don't want to.
no
We don't
threat
want
intended there
to.
whatsoever.
We don't want to go there because it's public parking on our streets, and we can't assume that a liability.
We,
of-
we want to make sure that this parking situation works for the business and the residents. And I'm sure there's
Absolutely
a
understand.
compromise to be had, and it seems like a simple compromise is at 7:10 at night. It's not, we're not going to be able to pull something out before tomorrow morning when you get off work. But we
Right.
can say, code enforcement, don't ticket these cars on the street
Yep.
Thursday and Friday, and we'll
While
figure
we're
out something
deciding.
before Monday.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Does that sound like an amenable
Yeah, that's-
solution?
Yeah, that's absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely amenable.
Yeah, I don't want to diminish affordable housing in our community, and I also don't want to diminish businesses' right to do their business.
That's
We
why
got to find middle ground.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
do you
exactly.
have a number for Lauren by any chance? I'm not putting you on the spot, and I'm not gonna. I
Your
just
telephone number?
yeah.
Yeah, let me turn my phone back on.
Okay.
I've got Brenda's phone number.
Sorry, folks. This is important though. I want to get a number so I can call the owner of the building and get.
Absolutely.
I mean, one of the other issues is there's a number of vehicles that just don't move down there.
Exactly, there is.
They are just fixtures.
So we need to figure all
And
the
that-
profits
that's
out
what-
for
that's
everybody.
Absolutely the reason why my second vehicle is not parked there. Because my Honda is my primary vehicle, and my pickup, I don't drive it very often, so I leave it at my uncle's, where it's
Yep.
out of everybody's way, and it's not.
And then
an
it's safe,
inconvenience
because
to
if
anybody.
you were gone to work all night, something could happen to your truck too.
Yeah, that's a good solution.
You don't have to say their phone number. Just bring it up. Bring your phone up here and show us the number.
Not a problem.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yep.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Yep.
Hey, thank you. We'll try to work with you.
Okay. Other visitor comments.
Hi. My name's Destiny Ryder.
Hey, Destiny.
I actually brought some stuff for you guys to actually be able to see. There's been some questions asked online, and I wanted to come and answer them, and I have a couple of questions myself. What are Matt Brown's hours?
Depends.
Salary.
He's salary.
Okay.
Yep.
So typically 9 to 5, 8 to 4. Whenever he
It
feels
just
like it.
depends.
Lunches, whenever.
Okay.
Yep.
What is the policy regarding personal social media during work hours?
I don't know the policy on social
Shouldn't you?
media.
You're the mayor. Shouldn't that be something you know?
Well,
Are you gonna?
He's not
first
HR.
and
asking.
foremost, I appreciate you not to talk down to me because I have not shown you any disrespect, Destiny, ever. Personally, I'm sorry that your guy didn't win. Okay.
Don't make this. This has nothing
Okay.
to do with
I've
that.
seen your comments on
This has
Facebook
nothing-
too,
This has
and that's
nothing
my time.
to do with that.
Okay.
You're here to do a job, and I'm here to address you. So I also would
Okay. So
appreciate respect.
continue on, please.
So what is the policy regarding personal social media use during work hours?
I don't think there is a policy on personal
Okay.
social media use.
Well, maybe that's something we should look at. As you can see in the packet that I've given you, the attack that has come from employees of the city during work hours is ridiculous. You want meeting minutes? The answer to your question was a simple Google search. You're a finance director, Matt. You don't get the chance to bully, you don't have the right to bully a nonprofit group when you could have found the answer yourself. You were invited to our meetings multiple times. You all have been invited to our meetings. It is written, you asked me the last time I was here to go back and talk to my board about our bylaws and our goals, and I did.
So now,
I
wait a
did
minute.
go back.
So now, wait a minute.
Okay.
I'm just now getting up to speed on what's going on here, okay, about this. Now, you don't need to personally attack Matt. You can address us because we are the council and I am the mayor, okay? So go ahead and state what you're continuing to state
Okay.
here.
I respect that,
Okay.
but I also hope that you respect that if he's allowed to question us, then I should be allowed to question him.
He's an
he
employee, and
wasn't.
we
He was-
don't get to go into
Now,
your
wait a minute.
employer
You are
and
a
question you.
What I can say about looking at this is that he's asking Shedco, a nonprofit that has affiliations with the city, about minutes, records of minutes.
Okay.
What's wrong with that? Because
he's a
he
city
tried
employee.
calling a number, is what I read,
Okay.
and he also tried to reach out on an email and had no response, and this was the only way he could make a contact through those lines.
Was through Facebook?
Yeah.
Facebook was the only option.
That's what I
that the
read.
finance director of the city council, who has all of our emails, who has every opportunity to get a hold of us. If you
Those
when
are
our
pers-
meetings are.
those
We
are
have
personal
meetings every
emails.
single month, and you're telling me
Those are
that
personal.
the only opportunity that he had
Destiny.
to ask us a question was through Facebook.
Destiny, those are personal email accounts. Those are not Shedco accounts.
But you have them, correct?
That is an
You know how to get a
architectural.
hold of Shedco.
The only one I know of is through an architect firm in order to reach out that I've ever seen. Or
With all due
or
respect,
another
You
business
have emails from me
that
personally.
is based out of.
You have my email. I am the secretary of Shedco, and not one of you has requested meeting minutes from me. None of you.
I
And
did.
you all have my email. You have it because I've emailed all of you. With all due respect, stop making excuses. This is why we're here. We have apologized so many
Listen,
times.
we're not
and
making
please
excuses.
let me. I only have 5 minutes, and I want to get what I want to say out too. Please. I have come here multiple times. I have tried with everything that I have to make nice with you guys and work together. We are written into each other's bylaws and goals. Shedco. Shedco will represent the concerns of the commercial historic districts area at the city, county, and special district level. Promotions. Shedco will promote and sponsor discussion groups and will educate and inform citizens and members on topics of interest and concern to the commercial historic districts area. In your own goals. Facilitate economic development activities. Leverage assets to retain, support, and attract local business. Support Shedco and the Main Street program. We were always supposed to work together. Always. And I'm tired of fighting. You guys allowed an outsider to come in and cause disturbances
Destiny.
between. Please,
Okay.
let me finish.
I will.
You guys allowed an outsider to come in and create so much of a friction that I am up here angry at all of you right now because neither one of us is benefiting our community. And it's ridiculous.
Okay.
We all should be ashamed of ourselves.
Okay.
Now I'm done.
Okay. So my response to you is in July 2 years ago, I gave you guys an opportunity, and she's not even here, and Gretchen was here, and I gave you the opportunity to bypass the so-called person that you're talking about and come directly to the council, and you chose not to.
2 years ago.
And you
did
chose
do
not
that.
to.
What were we
And
asked to
then,
do this
no,
year?
wait a minute. I'm talking. And then in the September minute, outside of this, there was a planning commission here that I was here, and the chair of the planning commission, Mr. Peterson at the time, was talking crap not only about the city in that meeting, but when I came outside and I said this drama between Shedco, and he's the chair of Shedco, Mr. Peterson is, and I say this drama between Shedco and the city just needs to go away, Al. And he goes, well, it's not gonna. And I have a witness right here, counselor. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, personally, I think that the situation is so broken that I think that I just don't know what the road for
And then furthermore,
communication is.
and then, no, wait. I
I
just want to finish
That's
my
my
testimony.
communication is.
respect that.
I want to finish my testimony because don't think I have not tried. So I showed up at, you're going to shake your head? I showed up at the November meeting, the December meeting. The December meeting there wasn't even enough people there to run a Shedco meeting. Trying to think of,
Our board wasn't there?
Al showed up. No other board member showed up at Sunshine Pizza. And that's another thing. You guys do not advertise where your meetings are at.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
It's on our Shedco Facebook page, and it's Wild Current
Me-
every month.
Me and Keith looked at your page one time and we ended up going out because me and him were both together going to your meetings, by the way. I have another counselor that went to these meetings with me. So I never went at it alone. I have 2 counselors at one time always going. We went till February, and Shedco never acted like they wanted to start working with us at all. He went to the March one, so we just decided, well, if they don't want to work, and that was Susan's experience. She quit Shedco. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 counselors up here, other than Doug Morton, who have personally been affiliated with Shedco in the last 2 years. Okay? Now, you guys
Doug Morton was, I have to go back on this, Doug Morton was affiliated with Shedco and for the first 4 meetings.
when it originated?
When it originated,
Okay.
yes.
So, I know from my term, and not even being here 2 years, that to be true. 100% true, everything I just said. And Destiny, you've already gave testimony, and we've talked. And now all of a sudden, you're coming at us because of a minutes request that was pretty plain and simple. All you have to do is,
With all due respect, we don't have
it was
to
a,
show you our
it was, a,
minutes.
it was a, and people disagree with that. So,
People can disagree all they want.
Okay.
The law is the IRS is the only one that is allowed to ask us for our meeting minutes. It is public information,
Destiny.
and anything, please let me finish, anything that anybody wants to get from meeting minutes, they can ask for the IRS. We are not required as a nonprofit to give our meeting minutes to anybody. If you are interested in our nonprofit, please come to our meetings.
Matt,
I did propose this question to our attorneys at Jordan Ramos's office. I received an email today at 5:05 that states that some nonprofits, she is right, that they do not have to send meeting minutes. However, there are 2 exceptions to that rule.
yes.
The first one is that they are charged with making a formal recommendation to a public body or decisions for a public body. That obviously does not preclude here. But I will remind you of the statements and bylaws that she just read from ourselves as well as Shedco.
Yep.
Exception number 2 is that they are performing a government function in lieu of the government.
Ooh.
So according to our attorneys, that
So
second exception
because-
does apply to
because she
Shedco
just
because
brought
of their
them
their
aligned with
affiliation
us.
with the government.
Yes.
Now, whether the city council wants to go forward and
You
fight
guys
to
have
see
done
those
nothing
meeting
but
minutes.
try and, like,
So,
up to the city.
so here's the deal: is
We're
either you will
patient.
provide those minutes, or you will not be affiliated with the city anymore. Is
We
what you're
already
saying?
aren't.
Oh, you already aren't.
You guys have done nothing. We just
You
want
just
a
said
Main
you
Street
were. You
award
just-
for an
You
app.
just said you want to play
and
nice.
you guys haven't even put it on
Wait
the
a minute.
website.
You
haven't
I just read
even-
you just read your testimony how we're supposed to be working together.
You're
We
not
have been.
supposed to be.
And I got testimony from Al saying we're not going to quit the drama. And me
You
and
have no
Councilor Locke have
testimony,
shown up.
Alan. I don't know the context
Oh,
of that
I do
conversation, so
too.
That's not fair
I
to put that on
absolutely
me.
do too.
No, what I'm
So-
saying is it's not fair to put that on me because I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I have
that's
no
the
idea of
problem.
the
That's the
context.
problem. Is
I'm-
you, Amanda, Al, you all bring this behavior, and then you say that wasn't me. I don't
This
know.
is the first time
I don't
I've
know.
ever
We're sitting
addressed
up here
you
as a
like
group
that.
right now, as a whole.
This
and
is
I'm telling
the
you that to be
first
true.
time I have ever addressed this council
Okay.
upset. I have every other time come with nothing but respect and professionalism.
Listen,
I was not upset before.
listen.
I have just a couple of comments that are a little bit, because the council's job is to create policy, and Destiny brings a policy question that I think that the council needs to look at I think that many employers and governments are navigating the social media policy. And myself, I won't speak for the other counselor members, but I try myself to be ethically okay, even to avoid the appearance of being ethically not okay, even if I know I didn't do anything wrong. And so the perception, even though I get a lunch break and I can be on social media, if I'm taking selfies, how does my employer really know if I was off the clock or not? And I think it brings to a bigger question about ethics of the city and transparency and just, putting our best foot forward and being our best self, not being just legal, but being our best self. And I do appreciate you bringing that to the council's attention, and we will definitely look at what that policy is and just consistency across the city. So I appreciate that, and I want to be proud of our community and proud of how we do business, and I don't want to ever make anybody feel the way you're feeling right now.
Thank you.
I hope that we can disagree and have good conversation, and we can be a stronger community for it.
I also agree.
I would like to be able to have civil discussions, and I agree that that is a policy that we need to look into.
Thank you.
Well, what I got to say is I've been at my wit's end with this, and there is no doubt that there has been foul play on your side, and you guys are claiming victim. That's a bunch of crap.
I'm really tired of you
That's
claiming all of these
That's a
things
bunch of
went.
crap.
What have we done that was wrong?
I told you, I've already explained what we have tried to do.
Okay,
With
let's
the
bring
with
that
the
up.
July 17th meeting, I
Does
invited
anybody know what
Gretchen.
this is?
Listen,
Because I want to bring the.
I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. It's on record.
Does
Destiny,
anybody know what this is? This was a study done by the state of Shedco. In this study, the state asked Shedco to help improve Halloween Town. When Shedco explained to the city that we didn't do Halloween Town, they asked us to come to you and still help improve it because we were getting blamed for it. If you're interested in actually reading the study, seeing why we were ever interested in Halloween Town in the way that we were, please, I invite you, because I'm really tired of getting bullied.
When was the study done?
yeah, when was this? Where was it?
November
That's the
18th.
first I've ever heard of this.
November 18th, 2015.
First I've ever heard of it.
Like I said, I welcome you guys to please read it because I want to squash it. We never tried to hurt you over Halloween Town. We only ever tried to do what we were asked and what is in our bylaws.
Listen,
That's it.
We definitely do not try to hinder Shedco in any way. If Matt wants to ask a question when it started originally, and I'm going to state this for the record, it started on his own time, and then it continued over because he got replies on business hours. Okay, and he was also, there was an email also that's not in this record, I do not believe, from Aiken Architectural.
Okay.
Okay, that's not here. There was
Okay.
back and forth.
Was I CC'd on that one, or was I on it?
Destiny, see,
I
this is
brought
what
in
I'm
what
saying.
I
You
brought
guys
in,
are a board.
I came to talk
You're
to
showing
you
up for
about
your
me.
board.
No,
No.
I said I was Destiny Ryder.
Okay.
She is Destiny Ryder, and she's
Yep.
talking about her
Okay.
secretarial duties. She does
Okay.
not here to take on the cause
you.
for
Okay.
all of the people that have ever
I apologize.
worn a Shedco
Yep.
sticker.
I appreciate
So Shedco has touched a lot of different community,
Yep.
a lot of different good
Yes.
volunteers that have done good things
But-
in this community. So, and she's not their attorney or their representative.
Thank you.
She had issues with the policy and felt
Yes.
personal about it.
And I
Just so-
brought
wanted
in
to bring it to our
emails
attention.
that were to me that
Yeah.
had me in them.
That's all
This-
she's
I'm
talked
not
about.
fighting anybody else's battle.
So,
I'm fighting mine.
I have one other question. The study was by which part?
It was
which
by
arm?
Sherry Stewart, Oregon Main Street Heritage Program, ORPD, and Mike Gouchard, Heritage Outreach Heritage Programs, ORPD.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
Could we get a copy left here for
Yeah,
us?
can we take a copy here? I only brought one.
Someone will be able to
Perfect.
make a copy on
Awesome.
our copy machine, because I just want to make sure, since you've referenced it, I
Yeah.
want to make sure we have it for the record or for us to look
Perfect.
back
There's
at.
some really good information in here.
That's
I
all.
think. I thought you guys had actually been aware of it.
I think
didn't
I
know
had-
that.
I probably
Okay.
saw it at one point, because at the point that at the time that was referenced, I was actually a Shedco board member.
I knew.
So,
I actually did.
so it
now that you
was
say that,
referenced,
did
and I
know
probably saw it in the meeting,
that. Yeah.
but, you know, that was
That was a
couple-
while ago.
Yeah.
100,000 Halloween revelers ago.
Right.
So, but we'd love to get a copy so the council
Yes.
can see it.
I hope that you do. And I only have one final thing to say, and it's about me personally, my family, and my children. Last time I addressed you guys, I did speak about my children, spoke about my passion. Recently, in the spotlight, there was an article that came out, and then there were some emails. There was an email sent by the city contractor, the event planner, to Kimberly's agent about my children. That the only reason that I volunteered at Shedco is that my poor children would have the opportunities to meet celebrities they would never have the opportunity to meet otherwise. That's unacceptable, and I deserve an apology. That should have never, ever, Tina should have never even thought that that was acceptable. To bring up my children from a meeting when I had actually come to try and bridge the gap and was nothing but respectful and professional to all of you.
I remember that meeting.
And to have my children tarnished is not okay. And that's me personally. And I don't think any one of you would appreciate your children being brought into anything in that way either.
No, and I very much appreciate your son. He was a
you.
contributing member of our
Because he
council.
was referenced in that too. It was about him. And although my twins did not see it, and this part is going to make me cry. My twins did not see it, and I appreciate that because they know nothing of it, but David did. And that is part of the reason he's no longer here. Because he's not going to walk into here and sit in a booth with people that are going to disrespect him and say really awful things. He needs to feel comfortable. This is I've talked to you about this before personally because this was one of my fears. I did not want David affected in any way. I didn't bring my stuff into my child because I wanted him to form his own opinion, and I respected the fact that you would not do that also. That was broken. And it's not okay.
Nor would I want any of our children.
My son deserves better.
And what I can say is a contractor does not speak for this
No.
council at all. Okay?
Yeah, I mean,
That's one thing you need to understand. Okay? That needs to be very clear.
It's hard for a citizen to understand how somebody that is under your eye, your watch, your employee, contractor, or salaried employee, you guys are responsible for her. And if anything comes out of this, you guys need to do a better job of holding her accountable for these things.
Yeah.
She treats everybody horribly. And that's one thing everybody complains about, but she has now crossed a line and brought children into it. She shouldn't have even the idea in her head that that would ever be acceptable. I don't have it in my head that it would ever be acceptable to go after one of yours, nor would I ever consider
I'm
it.
sorry that happened to you.
Ever. Anyways. Of the email? Yes, I do. I would be glad to email it to all of you. It is also, if you want to see it tonight before I get it to you, it is actually in the spotlight in the article about the whole Halloween Town thing. It's in the thread. That's where I saw it.
yeah, and I believe
With
that's,
everybody else.
but I mean, that's the thread that was released by the Chronicle, or by
Yes.
the Spotlight. It was not released by the city in
No,
any way, shape, or
right.
form.
No.
It was released
It
by
was
the
supposed to
Spotlight.
be private communication, and it got released. But I was taught a long time ago that you shouldn't put anything in
Now,
on a
it-
computer you don't want
Right.
to.
So it was
It should have never
private.
been said.
It was part of all the contract stuff.
Yeah.
going back
Oh,
and forth.
so this was okay.
It's part of that
It was an
unleashed.
email Tina sent to Diane.
So this
tonight
is
after I
just so people know for the record. I need to state this for the record
It's
that
the
there was supposed to be
tirade.
confidentiality between
But it shouldn't have been said.
the contractor and the movie star contractor and our contractor, and apparently that's where this email lies.
Were said.
Yes.
It was not supposed to be public.
No.
It
And
was
I
not
probably
supposed to
never
be in the
should have.
spotlight.
To be perfectly honest, I shouldn't have. It should have.
I'm
been kept
wondering
private,
how
but
it ended
also
up in the
should have never
spotlight.
been written. I don't know. That's a question. you have to
That's
ask them.
that's the $1 million
That's where I
question is how did it end up in the spotlight? The spotlight here tonight? I don't even see nobody from the spotlight here. Yeah,
Yeah.
The agent sent it to the spotlight.
the agent sent it to the spotlight.
Breached the contract, yeah.
See, and I
So,
don't know where.
and I know,
I just
Yeah.
saw it.
so and I know you're here on your own, but full circle is the agent was also affiliated with the goings on of Shedco too.
So it was a big.
I know you're here on your own
shouldn't
self.
happen.
I know you're
Yeah,
here on your
I've
own
talked
self.
to her myself.
Yeah,
so
big
that-
She
ugly
reached
circle
out to
shouldn't
us to
happen.
do
Back to
stuff, and we didn't events and stuff, and we chose not to. Yeah.
back to ethics. It sounds like Shedco might have also enticed somebody to release some information too. And I know you're here on your own. I'm saying
Right.
that we're both not perfect. Okay.
Both parties
So
need to do
I
better.
can't speak for anybody else. I know that I didn't
Yes.
personally. That was never one of my goals.
Yep.
But again, I can't speak for anybody else. I don't see anybody
It's
doing
a-
that, but I can't.
Destiny, what it really is
Them.
it's a circle, and I tried to get it, to stop, and I've tried, and I've done what I could, but I have a whole city to run, and a nonprofit is important to us as a city. But when I have a $35 million business I'm running here with infrastructure and sewers and policing and financing and we're working with school districts and ports and counties.
Right.
Shedco, not that they're not important, but when I put an effort forward and I don't get respect, I feel it's time for me to move on. Is the way I look at it, and that's what people got upset because they didn't get what I said. It's time to move on. It's time I got a waterfront redevelopment that's going to be a $50 million investment that Tokola is going to invest, and we're going to invest some money into that, and it's probably going to be to the tune of $100 million when it's all said and done in value after the investments. I apologize that I wish I could take more time and remedy the problem, but I've tried all I could do, and I have a rec program that I'm starting to try to spark up for our youth. That's highly needed around here, by the way. I look out there at our youth, and there's not a lot to do around here, and we understand that, and we just started it, so be patient. We are going to move it forward, okay? So you need to understand that, and I apologize. I thought you were coming as Shedco, and I thought this was just coming out sideways. I apologize to you. But
Please
I
let
also
David
want to
know
make
we
it
miss him.
for the record of why I had to move on. I tried all I could with that, and it's not that I don't care about nonprofits, because I do. I care about each and every nonprofit here. They do a lot of good. They are the backbone, part of the backbone to our community and the small businesses.
Right.
They are. They just are.
I agree.
So,
And again, I'm very sorry that your children were involved.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Can someone help her get a copy of
I
the
just
report?
real quick, I just want to say two final things, and then I'm
Okay.
out of here. One, I respect you and I hear you. I know that your job is hard. I do not for 1 second think that it's as simple as just, hashing it out and we can get this done and you have nothing else to do. I know that. One step in the right direction would be recognizing the things that we do. We did just win an app. It was an app you really liked.
I did. The
It's
barcode.
not even been on the city page.
Yeah. Yep.
You guys, you didn't come. We would like you to, like when we win awards,
So
we want one of you to come. We want you guys to celebrate in that. And there was an email sent asking somebody,
yeah.
anybody. That's the kind of effort we want.
And it's not
Like,
that.
That's not.
It's not
hard.
that we're not doing that. We actually, with all that stuff going on, our one person we have in charge of that, Crystal Farnsworth, is very, very busy. She's out filming for police. She's at the library. She's out every officer that gets sworn in. We feel as a council sometimes that we don't get coverage like we should, because all our other agencies are getting more coverage. But she's constantly busy. I wouldn't take that personal.
Well, it's just we need to show if we really want to bridge this gap and we really want to show the community that we're working together, little things like that matter. Because when citizens go onto the city page and they see apps that Shedco's winning, it shows that we care about each other and that we care about our community together. That's my point. That's all my point is.
So, well, and I hear your point. And in a perfect world, and when we build relationships, it's a give and take, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody just wants to take, and this is just my feeling, and I'm not saying that that's the case, but when I've given freely of myself and people don't take advantage or accept my help, then I feel as though I'm not wanted or needed. Okay? And I thought a mayor showing up was a pretty big deal. You know, I mean, I know I'm a long hair and I look kind of scruffy, and but I do have a brain, and I am very eager and motivated to make things work. And I was not even acknowledged. Okay? That's my experience. That was it. I showed up. I suited up, I showed up, I spoke from my heart, and I got nothing. Okay? And I apologize that I've tried for about over a year extensively, and we get at my wit's end, but I have to move on. I have a big city to run. We are 17% from the top in Oregon. 241 cities, we're number 41. We're over 13,000 people that I have to make sure that the sewer works, the water's coming, the roads are, parking issues, that businesses have the ability to open through codes or inspections or whatever. My phone's nonstop. And if I don't get every email when it's been CC'd a number of times, I apologize for that, but I got stuff coming through from governors, House bills, Susan Bonamucci, representatives, the county. I mean, it's not like I don't have a bunch of stuff going on. And I'm not stating that you're not important. So I don't know. Maybe it's time for what I would hope would be just maybe a break from each side.
I'm willing to go for that.
Yeah.
If you can call off your dogs, we'll do our
I
thing.
don't think we have dogs. I cannot. No, I cannot.
All due respect, no more questions from employees. If you want a break, I agree. No more questions from employees.
No, he thought he was asking for.
He emailed on company letterhead, on company email, on company time.
So bottom line is what you read at first was what we checked with Ramos, Jordan Ramos. What you read at first when you said that we were supposed to be affiliated with one another, that statement right there says that you have to give us the minutes of your meetings.
There's also more to that, though. You actually have to fund us, and you don't. There has to be. I need you to talk to the lawyer about that as well. But you,
Yeah, we funded
no,
you for years.
no. You funded a DARE person that you guys hired.
It's a rare.
Sorry.
Which
Darren,
is where that came from.
You guys hired, you don't even do that anymore, but you hired a rare person that you guys hired that was affiliated with you that worked
Destiny.
here that came to meetings. That is not the same thing.
Destiny, you know that came from the rare program? Do you know that?
Surprise me.
Do you know that gal there is head of the rare?
We appreciated it, but it is not the same thing as you funding us. You never funded us. You have never given Shedco money.
It gave Shedco a staff member that they didn't have before.
Partially, yes. They did give us a staff member, but legally, because you guys hired them and they actually answered to you.
So I'm confused
They were
because
not our
you
employees.
showed up as yourself, and now we're talking Shedco, and I'm really
Okay.
I'm just I know, but
Right. But
I'm not the one-
flip
when
side
it
is
fits-
that we've
we've
You say you want to take a break, and I'm just trying to agree with you. I don't know why we're like arguing again. I thought we were actually getting to somewhere. You say you want to take a break. Okay, great. Let's take a break. We'll do our thing.
Right.
You do your thing. Stop the questions and leave us alone. I don't think that's too much to ask if you want a break. You brought it up. I'm just trying
No.
to respond to you.
Do you mean a break, Red?
You said you wanted us to have a break. You said those words. I didn't say that.
So, aside from all this, you bring some good points that we need to revisit. Just like we said, public comment is the 5 minutes, and we've been trying to listen to you and trying to at least
I'm good.
put up our best front and try to at least have just a ongoing dialogue, because I still see people at Safeway and I still see people at Walmart, still see people at the high school, and life goes on. Because we still are neighbors.
I'm good. Thank you.
And tell David that he's welcome here anytime, okay? All right?
Thank you for being here.
Okay. Okay, other visitor comments.
Hi, Gretchen Witt, City of St. Helens resident. I didn't actually come here to speak. This wasn't on my agenda at all. I haven't appeared from you guys. The last time that I think I addressed you was January. I come here to listen. And every time I come here, you mention my name, Rick. Why?
Because you were sitting in that meeting on July
I was.
17th
But
as a Shedco member.
but I resigned because of Shedco because of this. And I don't
It's
want,
a state of record. It's record that you showed up here.
Can you see me as something different? It's
I
been
always have.
more than a year since I've
Gretchen,
been.
I went to
No, you
school with
don't.
you.
But you only reference me as Shedco. I resigned over a year ago. October 31st, 2017 was my last day as a board member. I volunteered for 2 months. 2 months until they found another treasurer. I come here and support Destiny because she's my friend. I came here because today, not because of Shedco, what's mentioned anything in these emails, but in that I agree that there needs to be a policy about social media and your employees and staff members and city council and all that. I myself work for a multi-million-dollar company in Scappoose. I'm the manager. I have 10 employees in the office below me. We have a social media thing that says,
Policy.
we do. I also am the human resources for 24 people. I wouldn't take this from my employees. None of them. Not the ones that work out of the office, not the ones that live across the country. I would not allow my employees to go on company time, especially with my letterhead and company signature, and do this. I just wouldn't. I've seen everything he posts on social media, on and off the clock, whether it's himself or whether it's a city employee. I read a lot of social media. I just don't engage because I'm trying to separate my life from a mistake or two I may have made in the past. I sit there and be quiet. But every time I come here, I'm Gretchen Shedco.
I apologize, Gretchen.
What do I got to do to have you see me as something different?
Gretchen, I knew you as Gretchen Williams originally, and way back when, even I forget your maiden name, excuse me, but we went to school together. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so all right. Is it correct though that July 17th of last year, not this year, but last year, you showed up representing Shedco? I'm asking you a question to answer.
I am.
That you showed up with Amanda, and you guys asked and said that you would like to plan an event around Halloween Town. And I said, for the record, you guys bring us a presentation of what you have planned, and the council here is more than likely going to approve it. And then we found out otherwise in September.
And yes.
So it's a key element. It is a very key element to what has transpired between playing nicely and not playing nicely. We found out via social media announcement through Shedco.
And I resigned.
A year and a half
I
ago.
don't want to be
It's
tied
actually
to
been
the drama.
It's actually not even been a year and a half ago. Okay. So I haven't even been here 2 years, and all this has transpired in my short little time here. So I apologize that's what you hear when you come here, but every time you come here, you're with Shedco or an affiliation of emails that have Shedco on it. So how do I not affiliate you with Shedco when you end up every time you end up here? It's something I apologize, but it's a simple fact that every time you show up here, it's.
And I agree. I don't.
So I
comment.
apologize.
This is the first time I've commented on a Shedco thing since I was a Shedco board member.
Okay.
I come to listen.
Yep.
I don't back up any of their statements with with emails that I still possess. I just listen.
So that's my answer to you, though. I don't know what else to say.
Okay. I would just appreciate, just use Amanda's name. She's a board member.
And I said I apologize.
Okay. I just don't know what to do. I've been trying to be a good, quiet citizen for over a year now because I don't like the drama. I really hate the fighting that goes on.
Me too.
I think what you just said a few minutes ago about you guys in Shedco splitting, going your separate ways, taking a break. I think that's the best thing I've heard between the two of you guys in a long time. I don't even go to their meetings anymore because I'm that much tied to, I don't want to be the drama. I didn't volunteer at all for Halloween Town this year because there's a stigmatism if you are a volunteer or a board member with Shedco. I help them with nothing. And I would just like to be seen as somebody who's trying to move on with their life.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
can I just quickly state for the record that they keep mentioning me about on letterhead and responding to everything. I just want to make it clear that the response that you see here on letterhead is from an email that they don't include in this packet that is originally from Al Peterson
Oh, these are the
at
ones
2:42 a.m. on November
from
1st
Aiken.
that
Yes.
we received, that I received.
Yes. That is
asking me questions, and then I responded.
That is a key
why I
point.
was asking.
That is
so
a key
that's not
point.
included in these emails. I would just like to point out.
Just for me,
Mhm.
you're an employee, and this is something that we don't need to minutia out.
No, but
Correct.
for the
I
record,
understand
I
that.
think it was important that
Yeah.
you do get that out on
Yeah.
record
Right.
because we have everything on record.
And the original Facebook message request was done at about 9 or 10 at night in the morning because, like I alluded to all of you, I never got a response from their email and their phone never answered. So
Okay. It's
I
noted, Matt.
I didn't at the time have any of those personal emails, and their website at the time did not have any of that information of their personal emails.
Okay.
I see it does now,
Yes.
but at the time it didn't.
Okay. Noted. Noted. Thank you. All right. Other visitor comments.
Shauna Harrison, P.O. Box 136, St. Helens.
Hey, Shauna.
Hello. So a couple of things. First of all, congratulations to whoever got reelected. Thank you for all your service who didn't. Thank you for blah, 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 whatever. Anyways, this has been real interesting this evening, to say the least. And I think that it's imperative for the health of our divorced parents, one being City of St. Helens and one being Shedco, that we volunteer to get some arbitration so we can try to move on in a progressive, happy, functional manner. I think that our Halloween town suffered greatly because of this strain. There was obviously lots of hubbubaloo and any kind of periodical throughout the county that you could read about several different things. And I also think it's super important as a city to hold any employee, contractor to the highest, utmost standard. And if we are paying somebody to be malicious towards children, I have a real big problem with that. I don't think that's appropriate at all. Personally, I think in a lot of places it'd be grounds for termination. Secondly,
That would be if she were an employee. She's a contractor.
oh, well, whatever, be grounds for not renewing a contract. That's what it would be. Anyways, so I didn't come down here to talk about any of that, really. So good news for you. I did come down to talk about something that I think that you guys think would probably be something that maybe beneficial to everybody. And that is that voting is obviously super important. And as it stands now, we have lots of rural communities. And in a lot of rural communities, they pay for services from the cities they're affiliated with, but they are unable to vote on things in the city. So Yankton, for example, would be a perfect example of a place where I can't vote for the mayor or for city council people because I'm not in the city limits. However, don't mind collecting those taxes for the schools and for the fire and yada, yada, yada. So I would like to see about somebody trying to look into the possibility of giving our rural residents the right to vote for the cities that serve them.
So,
So the post office serves you, but both schools and the fire district are special districts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep their own money.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't have any.
We don't get money.
We don't
from
get a
anything.
penny from them.
So why can't people in those areas, they can't vote because you don't get money from them?
They're
No,
not part
because
of
they're
our
not.
city limits.
They're not in our urban growth. In our city limits, not in our urban.
We
growth.
only tax people within our city limits.
Yep.
And
Yes.
the people that vote for us are the people that pay taxes.
Not all of them.
Right, but I mean the people. in the
TBD on that.
don't
TBD
vote.
on that. I'll do a little bit more. We'll see where we can go with that.
I
But
think
I
that's
think
the
it
state that-
would be a positive thing in the long run to try to figure out where that. I get the concept of it, but I think that there's. Let me just TBD, like I said. So, anyways, also, parking. So, when you live in a city and you need to park and you reside in that area and they're going to start putting in parking meters, most of the times what the cities do is they offer parking permits. So, for example, the city of Portland, I'm going to send this email to the mayor in 1981 in response to their concerns, like the guy who got up here earlier and spoke about valid concerns in regards to his residents, in regards to his street parking. I think that it would be savvy to go ahead and offer him a parking permit. I had him in Eugene. I had him when I lived in downtown Northwest Portland. And it seems like if we're going to be doing the kind of growth that you all anticipate down here in the Riverfront District, is that what we are? Mm-hmm. Then I would anticipate it would be a positive move in the right direction. Those people usually pay a nominal yearly renewal fee for that. And at the end of the day, it's a win-win. And I would definitely encourage it to be affordable. I don't know that the city of Portland is probably very affordable. You guys didn't put a timer on me? Oh, man. It's going to be a rough night. No, just kidding. I got a lot of other cool things to do
No,
today.
the students are getting that firsthand.
No, I know, and I was gonna say that I'm really impressed. I know a couple of people out here. I think maybe
It's
are
the
their
last-
parents.
It's the last day of the quarter. To do that.
Oh, they're just getting their minutes.
They're supposed to.
Oh, yeah. You guys should have had a development in here tonight or something.
They're
Made
supposed
'em-
to spend a lot of time here anyway. Usually more than we have.
Oh, good.
This is good for them.
Well, good news. It's already 8, and you guys haven't even got into session yet. So we're totally turning and burning. Hey, but I wait. I got just like 3 seconds. So, and then that was it. I thought that was a decent idea. And then the crosstalk thing, I think is super helpful. Like, I think all that obviously needed to come out, and I hope with all the letting go, we can start to heal. But I definitely think as your guys' part as a council, you have us as a 5-minute rule, and I think that crosstalk, you guys need to try to help us help you expedite the transaction. Because as great as it is that you guys got to drag it out, I wanted to be up here like a half hour ago. But anyway, no. But then the other thing is just ethos over egos. Everybody, you know, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about everybody else and trying to make us all work together to be better.
True.
And I just, you know, it's hard because you did this, me, blah, 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 you. And it just really, that's like how my crazy Mexican family lives in California. It's insane. Nobody wants to live like that up here. I'm just telling you. People come to Oregon to escape that kind of like dramatics. It's just not necessary. And what you guys have displayed up here between Shedco and the city of St. Helens, ay caramba. So, all right, that's it. Bye-bye.
Wait a minute. I want to compliment you on your scarf. I like that.
Thank you. Go Timbers.
Yeah. Okay, other visitor comments. Oh, here we go.
Art Laskowicz. I'm a resident of St. Helens. And I came in front of this group just about 2 years ago, November 16th, I think it was. And that's when we were discussing at that time options for repurposing the lagoon. And I suggested that we keep our options open and consider other things than filling it in with sediments from the Portland Harbor Superfund site. So here we are, 2 years later. Understand, you scroll down there, I think approve and authorize number C. You want to, yeah, grant documents for the brownfields development. Is that the one that is going to be used for the lagoon repurposing project, I'm imagining? So I think we've done a great thing over the last couple of years. I've been watching you guys on the television, coming to some meetings, especially the wayfinding project, very transparent, giving the public a choice of stone, metal, or wood signs. A lot of very interesting stuff happening again with the development of the veneer property. And I'm sorry, I may not be using the proper term for that now.
It's fine, we recognize it.
But as we're seeing, and again, should have started again, appreciate, again, everybody's service here, because we know it's not easy at times, fulfilling, but yet very difficult, gets very emotional at times. So I try to look at concerns, kind of keep it technical, look at the science of a situation, finances, money, try to be creative about it. But so again, I'm expecting, and John, I'll ask you directly, these presentations that you're giving for the lagoon repurposing. Would love to see that be done here for the public. Show us what you're talking about. How are we going to go about this? What options are out there other than a landfill?
Yeah, then the purpose of this funding is to, you know, explore that question. Can it be done? Can it be done safely?
Right. So,
and it's all about the public engagement piece of that.
This is going to be a 20-plus year project, potentially. It could be done a lot quicker. But so I commend the students for being here. I'll be dusting in the ground before it's ever probably completed. But you guys will be around and do the research, read some of the documents, have the council explain to us what some of their options are and what they plan to do. And you may or may not be in favor of it or not in favor of it. But I guess the public gets very emotional about these things. When you saw the uproar we had over a little bit of styrofoam on the waterfront, you can just imagine the interest and the concern that folks are going to have about turning that lagoon, which needs to be dealt with. And I'm not even going to go into some of the other problems that are out there and in the river right now. But bringing it to the public, we're about to spend over $500,000 on the project. So I think the citizens should have a pretty good understanding of what that's going to entail. You mentioned that the city is a $35 million a year business.
Pretty much.
Yeah, the landfill, sorry, the lagoon repurposing project will cost us 4 to 5 times that much potentially. But there's a lot of different ways to do it. So I love you at that. I just wanted to, again, get it on the record. I'm still learning the process and how to figure things out.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, I sat in front of you, and here I am again 2 years later, and just asking for more information.
And I've talked to you a little bit, just a little bit.
With some of you individually, and I got no responses from others.
So that's exactly what this 100,000 is about presentation to the community and the studies. That's exactly what this money is about. There's nothing other
John's
than.
been giving presentations.
Well, yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it's about time. Share that with us, please.
For sure.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I think we take a lot of pride in the work we've done on the waterfront and community project. We've, the plans that we come up with for the veneer property have all been based off of pretty extensive community outreach.
About the veneer property.
But this is extending that work. Along the river to continue the waterfront.
It's a big picture project, and we got 300 acres over there that are really, really a a great asset to us if they're used properly.
Totally agree.
So thank you again. Appreciate you
Yeah,
being here.
it's 204.
I'm sorry,
204.
204.
204 plus the lagoon, which is 39, so it's not quite three. You said 300. So I just want to make it clear so people don't think that we got all this industry property. Okay, 'cause it's 204, and it's a weird layout of cascade tissue as far as industry, and it comes down. I want to make this clear that it comes down. The infrastructure comes straight down the middle, and PGE owns rights to the whole 204. So we've been battling with trying to figure out PGE, no PUD rights
It's
at all.
complicated issue, and as
Yes.
we know, and
Yes.
somebody just told me the other night, he reaffirmed, waterfront property, extremely valuable, industrial waterfront property, you'll never get back. So to turn that waterfront industrial property into a landfill, when it could be commercial and a variety of other things, like I said, if we lose that, we'll never get it.
Where'd you get the 500? Where'd the $500,000 figure come from? You mentioned that we spent $500,000 on it.
No, you're planning to.
Where did you read that?
It's in the attachment.
Yeah, the budget
of that
document has a budget in there.
document. Yeah.
Yeah. But this
You may not see me here. I'm watching TV
So-
in 15 minutes. I'm trying to stay informed. Listen,
Yeah.
you guys got a long night.
Thanks.
I won't take any more time. But look forward to having much more
Yep.
good conversation.
There'll be good outreach.
Yep.
Thank you, Art.
Okay. Other visitor comments.
Steve Topaz, St. Helens Street. A great suggestion for you people. I think it's about time the city is audited by a third party. Not only the finances of the general city, but of each department. And then the audit should include projects planned, costs of projects, anticipated, and it should go back at least 2 voting cycles so we can take a look at what projects were proposed, what they cost, as proposed, what they actually cost, and time actually spent versus proposed time. I think this should be done by an outside consulting firm or outside accounting firm. Just recently over in a county, they found somebody had moved basically $750,000 into their own pocket, mainly because they did not have a auditing system in place. So I strongly suggest the city be audited so we know where we are financially, and the audit should include projects that were planned, projects that are finished, so we have an idea how well projects are handled, and also a complete list of the projects and grants, even though they may not have been funded, so we have an idea what the city's doing. Thank you.
So, Steve, we do have an audit every year.
Yeah.
Does it include the not only finances but projects?
They go through the whole everything.
But is it public, so the public has it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I can see what projects, say, facilities had,
Mhm.
what they did and all that.
Yes.
Where can I find a copy of that?
Yeah, I think it's online.
Yeah.
Well, then it's a very poor description of projects. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyways.
I can't have him away from the mic. That's why I was getting kind of. I have to have him speaking to the mic. Any other visitor comments out there? No. Any kids got any questions? No. Okay. Resolution number 1831. A resolution adopting the universal fee schedule and superseding resolution 1829.
Move we approve resolution 1831 as read.
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 1831. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approve and authorize for signature. A, Emerald Meadows subdivision final plat pending receipt of performance bond. B, Enterprise Fleet Management Master Equality Lease Agreement Amendment to Master Equity Lease Agreement, Maintenance Agreement, Maintenance Management and Fleet Rental Agreement, Phillips 66 card application, and consignment agreement. And C, grant contract documents for OBDD Brownfields Redevelopment Fund 100K.
I move we
A-
approve. Oh, go
Did
ahead.
A need to be changed?
Yes, excuse me, I believe that Jacob had mentioned at the earlier meeting that A needed to be changed, the wording of that,
Yep.
to be signed with deferral of the performance bond until after the plat was recorded, and that no, I don't know what the exact wording was, but that no building permits could be issued until receipt of
Deferral.
the performance
Can
bond.
you take a stab at it?
Me?
The exact words?
So, okay, so A is amended, Emerald Metals subdivision final plant pending a
Here comes Jacob.
Thank you.
Jacob. So Emerald-
Correction.
Yes.
Emerald Meadows subdivision final plat pending receipt of performance bond before the issuance of building permits for lots within the subdivision.
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Moved in second.
so now I approve
as
and
amended.
authorize for signature A as approved, B as read, and C as read.
Move we approve 5A through C as amended.
Second.
Question.
Yep.
So I don't know if anybody knows this or answer or not, but why is there a Phillips 66 card application included in this?
That is the so-called credit card that Enterprise uses for gas purchases so that we can track mileage and gas, I guess.
Does here's my
mileage-
question.
We don't
and
have a
miles-
Phillips
miles per ga-
66.
It's not specifically used at 76. It's just the vendor that Enterprise has chosen to use for their fuel program. So it's mainly like our credit cards for the city that that it's automatically paid off through the fleet program.
Do we not get gas through Lawrence Oil like everybody else?
We do, and we can continue.
Right.
This is just an added option if there is somebody at
Oh,
a
okay.
conference or something that it's a way that we can continue
Traveling
to track the miles per gallon and the cost of the fuel over time.
All right, super.
Thank you.
Okay. So it's been seconded and motion to a motion's been made and seconded to approve 5A through C as amended and read. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Appointments to city boards and commissions. What we got? I know we're.
I don't have anything.
I understand an opening in the Budget Committee has come up.
Yes.
And I understand that there is also there's also one in the parks that Cherry advertised for just recently.
Yeah, I know there's several outstanding that Kathy sent notifications to the media about, but she doesn't have any recommendations at this time, so I don't think the
Right. I
deadlines are up
understand
yet.
that. I just brought that up as is that there are some vacancies, and there's keep that in mind as we look around the community and we look for appointments.
I do have a
One on
recommendation
budget,
for the budget.
one on budget, and one on parks, in particular.
What did you say, Keith?
I have a recommendation for the budget, but I have to talk to the
Okay.
person first.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Okay, consent agenda for acceptance. 7A, library board minutes dated September 18th, 2018.
Move we accept consent agenda 7A.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda 7A. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Okay, consent agenda 8 for approval. A, council work sessions, special session, regular session, and executive sessions minute dated October 17th, 2018. And B, accounts payable bill list.
I move we approve 8A and B as read, consent agenda for approval.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda 8A and B as read. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so, welcome, hey, the students are all gone now.
We have a few hangers on.
It was a very different meeting tonight. That's all I got to say about that. I do feel that maybe, and just thinking about this, that with all due respect, in order for the city to move forward, maybe we just completely cut ties with Shedco completely, and they just do their thing and we do ours, and they don't worry about what we're doing. We don't worry about what they're doing, and it just all stops. Because I do feel as though it is a hindrance to the corporation that we are running here. You know, we have a waterfront redevelopment and industrial property, and it just maybe it's you know, it gets a perception for both of us that is negative. So I think maybe it's just time to completely cut ties, and that's my feeling on that, and mine alone. But I clearly see it as a solution, because I've really tried. Believe me, I have, and I can honestly say that and look you right in the eyeball and say that I've tried. And that's the only solution I actually see after it just continues to drag on. And I have only been here for 1 year and 11 months, not even 2 full years, and it almost started right from the get-go. So very distracting for both. We both have bigger and better things we could be doing. So I'm going to recommend that we actually look at that. It was kind of agreed and felt mutually, but they didn't show up as Shedco. That was kind of confusing me. That whole was really confusing. And I apologize for if I have acted in any way unprofessional, because I know I got emotional, but I really have tried to make it work. And I was disappointed when I tried every angle I could to make it work. So I can't control my contractors or my employees, but I can speak for this council. I feel as a whole that we have definitely tried, because I know of 4 members up here who have tried. So now, you know, we've got the Christmas ships coming up here real soon, and we had a group of citizens approach me that wanted to do a fireworks shoot in memoriam of Ed Locken, and it was discussed a little bit earlier about to date they have raised a little over $1,200, and they have 5 more weeks till the shoot, but they have to have the order in. You know how fireworks work; they have to be a pre-order. So they still have 5 weeks between now and December 8th, and I would like to project that they're going to get 1,000 a week. They're already better than that right now.
I would like to fill the gap to 5,000.
You would like to fill the gap to 5,000.
So assuming that they're going to raise 3,800 or 3,400, that we'd make it $5,000.
Make the difference.
I agree with that, but I'd like the proposal sort of amended. I know Ed spent a lot of time doing that, but there's a lot of other
that's what they were hoping.
That's what they were.
Yeah.
So I think we ought to extend that to all of the volunteers.
And it was actually reached out to by the committee that they understood that too. This was underneath Ed's license, but they wanted to recognize all the EZELs. Councilor Locke was involved in some fireworks too.
Yeah,
for a lot of years. So a lot of people.
The Youngs and
the list is long.
Yeah, they
the
spent
list
a lot
is
of
long
years
people.
doing it.
Yes. Yep.
They all deserve a lot of credit.
Right.
And we've kind of got away from all the volunteerism
Yes,
and hired it
yeah.
out. So let's recognize everybody.
Right.
A big
Yes.
tribute, a big end of the year celebration of all the people that worked so hard to make it happen.
Okay. So, all right. Do we need to make a motion for that?
Was that a motion? I'll second it.
Yeah, I made the motion that we'll fill it up to $5,000.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to fill it up to $5,000 for a fireworks shoot on December 8th, Christmas ship nights, for the whole community, in remembrance of all the volunteers throughout the years who have dedicated, from the fire department is where it started, to all the way up. Everybody who's donated time in doing fireworks shoot. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, yeah. You guys have any questions out there, students? I know this was kind of a weird meeting. We do a lot of our work during the day, and it was so you get a lot of what we have discussed earlier in the day or talked about coming up tonight. That's why it read so fast. So it really happens during the day.
Halloween comments, development comments.
Yeah, rec program, fishing comments. Oh, here we go. Come on up.
Because we
But
can't record you unless it's on the microphone, and we don't want to make sure it's recorded. You could take it back with you and pass it around.
Yeah.
I just have a quick question. I'm not from St. Helens, but I'm from Scappoose.
That's okay.
But are you guys aware of what's going to be discussed, like in your afternoon meeting?
Yes.
Yeah. It's all. So our
online.
agendas are always online. You can go right on the city's.
Do you know who is coming up?
Oh no.
Visitors'
No.
comments? No.
No, it's
all random.
Always left
That's
field.
what I needed to
It's
know.
all random.
Yeah, it's always left field. Yeah. Yep.
It's a surprise.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys did great.
And yeah.
Well, I mean, people volunteer and they put their heart and soul into it, and they get emotional about it, and so
that's kind of why
it's
that's
not
really
unusual.
why I got
It's
emotional.
not unusual for people to get emotional because it's their community and they put their heart and soul into it. And it's no reflection on any individual because people do work hard and it's their time off that they're donating. So it's a personal thing.
Yep.
Nothing wrong one way or the other.
Yep. Okay. So that's all I have to report on. Council President Morton.
Well, Steve Topaz came in and asked for an audit. What we really need is a facilitator for Gestalt therapy. So next time anyone comes by, bring your pillows. We'll get in a big circle, and the emotions can flow, and it will be very healthy. Okay, so that's my take on it. Actually, it was a good session. It really was. That needed to get out, and
painful.
It's painful to do that. So, I was just joking, and it was. I think it was very beneficial for everyone to air their concerns. I don't have anything. That's it.
All right, Councilor Khan.
Where'd Steve go? I don't have anything to add to this afternoon.
Okay. Councilor Carlson.
Oh, out of order. I have a couple of things that I said earlier, but I'll say it again. I actually expected Doug to speak on it. Get a chance to get your first look at the new Veterans Plaza at McCormick Park. That's this Sunday, 11/11 at 11.
Yep.
And
Actually, 10:45 because there'll be just a
flag raising thing
Yeah,
stuff.
to.
But it's a big group. We've got a larger platform. We've got a big cover, and it's just going to be super nice to really Public Works and a lot of volunteers put the effort to get that done for our veterans. And if you've gone to it in the past, they've sat in the mud, they've sat out in the dirt, and it's nice that we can treat them with some respect. The other thing is this Saturday, the Habitat for Humanity House on 7th will raise walls, and those walls are sheeted with exterior plywood, and they're very heavy, and we can use all the help we can get to tip those walls up for a nice family of 5 that's hoping to be in there soon, that has recently been evicted from their home and are really anxious for their house to get built. So super exciting stuff and opportunities to give back and put your heart into it and be really rewarded in the community. Even if you can't lift the wall of a house, you can bring cookies to the people that do. So it's a super great, rewarding community weekend and lots of opportunities for people. That's all I have.
Yep. Councilor Locke.
Crazy. Anyway,
it is.
One thing I brought up several times, and I'm going to bring it up one more time, and I'm actually second time I'm actually going to make a motion on it. So, talked a lot about the intersection of St. Helens Street and First Street, and I'm going to add First Street and Cowlitz Street to this proposal that we turn both of those into a 4-way stop. St. Helens and First Street is a 2-way, and Cowlitz and First Street is a three-way stop right now. So I know that Sue has gone back and forth about this, but some of you don't know now, but I reside in Salem part of the time now, here part of the time, and I'm kind of right next to the country out in Salem, and there's new development going on and whatnot. So anyway, I'm driving down this country road that I've went down several times, and it probably only gets maybe 100 cars a day or something like that. And next thing I know, here's an intersection, and they put a four-way stop in. There's never been an accident there. There's never been anybody hit there. There's never been anything close happen there. Now there's a four-way stop there. So I think for safety purposes, I've seen several people almost get hit, and I've also seen several accidents at the corner of St. Helens Street and First Street. And so anyway, I would like to make a motion that we direct our Public Works to put in a four-way stop at the corner of St. Helens Street and First Street, and also First Street and Cowlitz Street.
Second. It's a safety concern.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve a stop sign or direct Public Works to put stop signs at
Turn into a four-way stop.
at Old Portland and First and Cowlitz and First. All in favor?
I had a question.
Question?
Yeah, I'd like to ask our city engineer for the public record of why you have not gone forward on this recommendation in the past. So we know, so all of us know.
A few reasons. It does not comply with the MUTCD, which is the adopted Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. It doesn't even come close to meeting the standards for that type of control at that particular intersection, which can cause other problems. People aren't used to that. Also, because of the width of that intersection, it will be problematic placing signage where people can clearly see it. I don't disagree that something should be done with that intersection, but that's something that is in the corridor master plan to do improvements at that intersection when other improvements are done in the downtown corridor area. So I have to look at it from the perspective of the professional, all of the professional studies and the professional codes and things that we've already adopted. If you direct us to do otherwise, I'll go with your direction, but I don't believe that that's the correct way to approach those intersections at this time.
When I gave that answer out in the public, when someone asked me that, I suggested the same thing about the codes that you just alluded to. And then there was a reference then about West Street and 6th, which used to be a stop sign, whatever, and we changed that to a four-way stop. How did that happen? Because I think it happened the same way that as what Keith is.
That was a previous. I don't know how the decision was made because I wasn't involved with that decision.
Right.
I just know that it happened with a previous. He wasn't the public works director, but he.
Exactly.
So whoever was the authority at the time.
Exactly. So with that, did that go along with those standards? I don't
have the numbers, so I wouldn't be able to tell you how that complied with that or not.
And so do you think then, because that's functioning very nicely, I think, and it went from a three-way to a four-way stop. And
the geometry there is also quite different than the geometry at the intersections down here with the street widths.
What about down here on Cowlitz? Same deal?
Same.
So three-way stop is confusing. It's very confusing.
I have no idea how that was initiated, the three-way stop, but I agree it is somewhat confusing.
I see people run the stop all the time.
all the time.
So is that problematic for a four-way stop down here? On First and Cowlitz?
Yes, it would be in the configuration that it is right now.
Even though we all see it as a problem, we can't do it because of laws.
I didn't say that they were
Because-
laws. I said that I would comply with what the council said, but it does not comply with the geometry or the codes that we have already adopted. So,
That's what
but
I'm saying,
if the
it doesn't
council would
apply
like
to
to
the
do that,
codes, yeah.
yeah,
So
they're
we
not
need-
laws; they are codes.
Our codes?
They are codes that we have adopted that are federal and state standards.
This is the question that I have, and I know it's in the middle of Keith's report. It's been brought up in this room that we have these big corridor plans to do this stuff, but because we don't have the money, it won't happen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And so this is my fear, is that in particular, St. Helens Street and First Street is a stroller has to be hit before a stop sign goes in there. And I don't want to sit on this council when that happens. And as we grow, and as the foot traffic count, because I don't know what reports we have and how current they are. If you look at foot traffic count at that intersection in the month of October, it might comply for that month. And I know you can't do a 4-way stop for a month, but it's like we at some point have to look at where we're growing to as opposed to where we are right now.
Sure.
Okay, I have a suggestion, and I think we should act on Keith's motion. And my suggestion is to not vote on it, go nay. Do another motion, if you care to, just on First Street. And I would totally support that.
Which
First,
intersection?
First and Cowlitz, a 4-way stop. Because I think that's doable. I really do. This one
That's
is,
not my problem. My problem is this intersection. I have seen numerous close
many close
accidents
calls.
there.
Yeah, so where's the stop sign?
I've
go?
also seen 4 people stop at the same time.
Where's-
Now nobody knows what to do.
Yeah, I started looking at that and I go, okay, where's the stop sign coming?
There's
Where's the
already
stop?
they've already put a temporary stop sign out in the middle for our
Yeah.
October, right?
Yeah.
No, that's
whatever it was
no,
for.
that
No, it was
that
even
stop sign's
before.
been there for several months.
Right.
It was moved
Not
so
hurting a thing,
because
is
it's
it?
well, it's
Anyway,
it's
let her
it's
finish.
it's non-standard. And again, I will move forward with whatever the council decides. But that intersection is not a typical intersection. We've got the 2 different streets coming in, coming from the north.
hill.
Yeah, with the hill.
No,
That's
no,
going to have
no,
to
no,
be
it's-
professionally designed. I'm not going to put stop signs out there in non-standard locations that would not be recognized. So that will have to be professionally designed and professionally redone. So we will have to have
Someday.
some funding. No, if you direct me to do that, we will do that, but we'll have to find funding to do that. That's not something that we can just go out and have Public Works plop some signs in the ground tomorrow.
It's even on First and Cowlitz? You think that
First and Cowlitz is slightly more visible, and we don't have the issue with the 2 signs. It would still be a little bit unusual, but if you feel that there's an issue down there.
What do you,
But
what do you
however,
estimate?
that if First and St. Helens Street does not meet the traffic standards, First and Cowlitz absolutely does not.
How much do you estimate a traffic design there would be? Just
I
ballpark.
$25,000.
Here's
I don't know.
the question is,
Could the motion be?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
is the purpose of our rules or ordinances is it public safety? Is that our primary concern?
Yes.
And
Yes.
we have multiple council members
Second
concerned
bullet point, right?
concerned about public safety, and so I would think what I'm asking for is not put the sign in the weird place that doesn't make sense. I'm asking for, let's find a path to safety. And whether that's looking at a
right.
grant for a bulb out, or whether that's looking at something as we've identified at a target gateway that we need to look at.
Right, and we know that intersection that we want the bump outs there, that's in the
Because I
corridor
know it's
plan.
part of the corridor plan,
Mhm,
but
absolutely.
when we treat the corridor plan as a whole thing, we're never going to get that money. I mean, nobody writes checks that big.
As a whole thing.
But if we do targeted intersections, we might have a chance of
Yes.
doing it section by section.
That was going to be my motion, is that hold off on First Street, let's see how it goes down on, hold off on First and St. Helens, see how it goes on Cowlitz and First, because that seems to me like a pretty easy one. Adding one stop sign.
Because it's pretty even signed. The streets are all even. They're all lined up.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't
I'm
see
leaving mine
voting
as the way it is.
off.
Okay.
And you guys can do what you want to with it.
Okay.
Could I
Okay.
have a
You want to
say one thing? The direction to staff could be to come back with a design for that intersection, or design proposal, even not even.
Can be done.
But I heard a motion
and a
that's been
second.
made and seconded to order staff to put a four-way stop at First and Old Portland and First in Cowlitz.
I think it's St. Helens.
It's actually St. Helens.
Or actually St. Helens, yes. All right. So, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
The reason I am opposing it is because I think I would favor a study at this point, an active study, to see if it can be done. Passed.
Yep. Motion passed. Okay.
Okay, so
And
what
bulb
is
outs are
that?
fine.
Pardon?
And bulb outs are fine. If we want
Okay.
to move forward on that and find a way to fund it.
Okay. Then that's what we'll have to
look at.
That's what I'm looking for, is some direction of what we want to do. So we're not going to be out there next week putting in stop signs, just so you understand that.
A plan.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Soon.
Yes.
I can't hire somebody this week, so it's going to have to go through the process.
Yep.
Public agency, we have to do
Well,
things by
I
the rules.
tried starting this process several years ago now, and it's gone nowhere, and I'm just fed up.
I understand your frustration.
So we're starting
We'd
the
love
process.
to do everything.
Yep. Okay. Councillor Locke, anything else?
That's it.
That it? You sure?
Come on, that's just a start.
Okay. Department reports. Lieutenant Hogue.
I have nothing new from this afternoon.
Sue? Matt?
Good evening. I would just like to say, I know John and Kathy have been working on a new personnel policy. I know that is in the works. There are social media aspects in our current personnel policy. There are social media aspects in the new policy, or I think not in the old one, but it will be in the new one, right?
You're stealing my report. So.
Okay. Well, I'll and I won't go any further than that. But
that's okay.
Just my personal opinion, there is a wavy line of legality between what you can request as a council from me to give information of what I've done on my personal time. That being said, I am happy to share with you any comment that I have ever made on social media in regards to anything, because I have made comments. I have made comments on social media when I see something that is incorrect, and I post valuable information that I think corrects that person and directs them towards the information where they can find the correct answers. With that being said, the comments that were made about requesting minutes and everything, it's not all in this report. There's a lot that is left out. I am happy to share that with you personally. You can read every comment that was made that I do not think was disrespectful.
Like this email was, it was actually, you were addressed through Aiken, and then you said, well, greetings, Al.
Correct.
Correct? And then there was a reply after that. After you CC'd everybody.
That
you
email.
Actually, if I recall, because I got CC'd by you.
Correct.
And this email from Al, I did not particularly know
That
all
original
that
email is.
Facebook stuff, but the email is CC'd directly to
Correct.
us. Through you.
Correct.
You did that, not Al.
Correct.
You brought it to our attention that this is what's going on. Yes.
So if I ever I can pull up the original email that I got from when Al sent me that original first response.
Yep.
I believe he CC'd all of you, and when I replied to him, I made sure to CC everybody because I knew in the back of my mind that it was going to come up. because he was emailing me during the day, which I never receive emails from Al. So I knew it was going to come up. That's why my replies and everything was all CC'd to you, so you are aware of what was being going on. But if you would like to contact me on my personal time or come up and visit me, I'd be happy to show you any comment that was made. I do not think any comments that I made were bullying in any way.
Well, this is the chair of Shedco, just so we know.
Correct.
This has been for years. The same Al who ran against me for mayor. The same Al that was on our planning commission too. That I just want to make this very, very clear. I almost want to make a motion that we just, if that's what it takes, that we completely sever ties with Shedco. That St. Helens Economic Development is not tied, even though it sounds like it is not affiliated with the city of St. Helens, because they choose to be, because they don't want to give their records of their minutes, but they want to do the emails back and forth when it's convenient for them, and not and be part of this city when it's convenient for them. But when it's not convenient for them, they don't want to be part of this city.
Well, and I will just remind the council that one of the reasons that,
And I think just to make it go away, hold on. Okay. I think just in order to make it go away, because I get emotional, and it's not about emotion, it's about logic, but it takes up too much time of our staff, of my time, and I have a large city to run. We do.
We do.
We do. Yes.
Someday things
correct
will
that.
change with Shedco.
Things will change.
Well, maybe then we can relook
As
at things.
they have now, because we've never had any issues with Shedco or any other of our nonprofits in town until certain people got on the board. And that's where we're at today. So, as we know, all boards change.
Yeah.
So, were you done?
No, he wasn't. Sorry, Matt.
That's okay. So if you would like to see any of that information, I'm happy to share any of that personal information with that for you. And just so you know, most of the management and unrepresented teams, I know I'm going to harp on what John's probably going to talk about here in a second, but I am an exempt employee, which means technically I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's why I'm here at 6:30 in the morning. That's why I'm over at 7 o'clock at night painting walls at the new rec center and everything else that's going on. So
I just have one thing.
Yeah.
And this is just not related specifically to this because this is a hot button issue. But when people know who you are and they know that you have an executive position with the city, whether you assert that or not, or whether you're pushing that or not, there is assumed level of authority. And so people can feel bullied even though you did nothing to make them feel bullied.
Correct.
And so sometimes you have to be super extra hyper vigilant to be super passive and to just not engage, because people will construe it however they want.
Correct. And that's why I am willing to let you see my personal Facebook page at any time for any comment that has ever been made in the entire time I've been on Facebook.
Yep.
So
okay.
I've always tried to be very cognizant of, yes, it's on my personal time. However, I know I hold a position in a local government.
I know you said to me, if something blew up last night, you might want to take a look.
I did message you because I knew it was going to blow up.
Well, and I mean, I don't see no derogatory marks or anything, Matt.
I didn't see anything
no.
And I try not to, but I also, I think the last thing that I was going to try and say was one of the reasons, although my request for the meetings was also to learn more about Shedco and their planning process, which I alluded to in the email. But I also did receive a request from Rick as well to request the meeting minutes to ensure that it was on the record that they attended meetings in the past.
Me and Keith attended meetings.
Because it was said on social media and other posts that
in our debate that we didn't support nonprofits like Shedco, which was incorrect, because so they said again here tonight that we don't fund them, even though we funded a $100,000 rare program person for them as of a year ago.
As long as we were able to get rid
yeah, that's
Jasmine.
That's a legality issue of,
I know,
did we directly fund them, and
perception.
It is correctly perception. Yeah. So just know that I'm happy to share any information and answer any
questions.
questions.
Now wait a minute. That Main Street program, they awarded a grant. There was 5 applicants. There was 3 applicants that actually met the criteria. Now, Shedco as a board decided that they were going to, there was Michael Elliott, Russell, who sits on the planning commission, is doing a project or still wanting to do a project across from IGA. And then there was El Tapatio, okay? It was a $100,000 grant. All 3 of those more than qualified. They met the criteria. Now, there was a rendering done for El Tapatio by Al Peterson, and we funded this program, and Shedco awarded that to El Tapatio, okay? If truth be told, that's exactly how it happened, because I was encouraged. I was brand new, seeing it. Susan was the liaison at the time. I came because I wanted to see the process, because that's $100,000 getting tossed to one of 5 businesses. So there's a conflict of interest there in Shedco, if you really want to get down to it. If I do a rendering and then I award that contract, that $100,000, and it still has yet to be spent, that's why I want to wash my hands of Shedco. I don't want to have. We're going to show up, and we're not here as Shedco, but we're bringing you documents that got it's a personal email from the chair of Shedco, which is Al Peterson. That front page right there. And then,
it was during his work.
and then all this is Shedco, but I'm showing up here not as Shedco. This is what we deal with. And I got a big business to run. We have a big business to run. I've tried.
So I'm still awaiting a few clarifying questions that I did ask the attorneys. When I get those, I will be happy to forward the entire email chain so you can review it and take whatever perception you want. If you as a council want to look into it, if not, it's your call. Whether you want to look into requesting the meeting minutes from the prior meetings.
I just want the drama to end.
I would love that. I have plenty of other things to keep me busy. So, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Lisa? Nothing? Okay, John.
Has reluctant to kind of pick any more at the earlier conversation on the
scab.
The city does have a social media policy, but the finance director also has a fiduciary responsibility with the city that has outreach and oversight over things that we support or that we tax. At hotels is a good example. If we want to go and look at their books, we can schedule and go and make sure that their taxes are appropriate. The cannabis business is a new one. We can come in and look at their books and make sure things are in their house is in order. You know, and it's not unreasonable to want to know about the arms of government that we support. So I just want to support Matt for that. And also the comment about staff and contractors, as was made about the leak to the media and attacks on the children. So, you know, the adage of you don't write anything that you don't want to see on the front page of the paper. You know, it's equally don't say anything you want to not see in the front of the front paper or even in the back paper or buried in a link in an email. And Ms. Ryder, if you'll recall, came to the council, sat here and
talked about her kids.
And talked about her kids. And I don't want to put it rehash it again, but it was exactly the kind of comments that came out. And
there was fault to be had by lots.
Yeah. So.
Plenty to spread around.
You know, I don't want to go any further than that. Other than it wasn't made up. She sat here and told us about it. So, changing subject slightly, the
Thank you.
Columbia River PUD has reached out to us to request a pay station. Apparently, the St. Helens Credit Union is no longer having their pay station up there, and part of our franchise agreement with the PUD is that we have a somewhere in the city have a pay station. So they're asking if outside next to the utilities is a good place to have a PUD pay station. So it might be a little bit confusing at first. You know, they pay for it and everything.
So no cost
anyway,
to us.
Because St. Helens Credit Union isn't St. Helens Credit Union anymore.
I know they were changing their name. I don't know if it's happened yet or.
I think it was the 1st of December. I think.
Does it have to be on our building? Or could it be
not.
anywhere?
Occasionally you see them through like a drive-through, like through a parking lot or a turnaround, or you'll see a little kiosk kind of thing behind a curb. I don't know if we want to generate a bunch of traffic through city parking lot. I don't know if that's such a great idea, but
I was just trying to think of another place besides next to where they pay their court fees and their water bill. Seems like kind of confusing, and bringing people down here. It's just complaints of parking and traffic. It's not a place I want to. I don't know what the count is on a pay station.
It's usually a pretty quick stop, but it's,
But I mean, how many cars do you think use a pay station in a month?
I have no idea.
Is it like 200 or is it like 25?
But it may be the same people that are paying water bills, so it may be one-stop shopping for them too.
I know in previous communities I've served, we've had the water bill station be a drive-through thing, and it was pretty frequent. I mean, it was a daily kind of drop. You picked up a good handful. There's no answer today required, but maybe you want to think about it.
Is this a Dropbox or a manned
Put it
station?
up there on First and St. Helens, right? There at
Stop
that
sign pole.
That new stop sign.
This is just a Dropbox, not a manned station, right?
Just a box.
Okay.
That tends to create traffic and drive people to places you want, onto Main Street. It's more than just the city too. It would be kind of a regional thing.
Is there a place where we could move our Dropbox to make a drive-through out of it?
The city sidewalk over by the courthouse.
Take out a couple parking places.
Yeah. I don't know.
Think about it. I mean, a lot of times people driving through would like to just kind of do the ATM kind of thing where you just shove it in the slot and go.
But there's no place down here where that's easily accessible.
I'm not sure that it's been thought about, but
We could use the voting box that only gets used 1 month out of every other year.
could be.
What about
it could?
What about the What about the library? What about the library?
Library could be a place.
Yeah, I think that would be a good spot. Library. Yep. Yep.
Library would be a better place than down here in this little.
Yeah, they
bottleneck
service
down
it and everything else, so it's.
I'm just thinking about traffic flow and. not
Susan?
causing more problems.
I'm thinking.
She's thinking Dairy Delicious.
I was thinking it by the Dutch Brothers. I'm serious. Get your
Again,
coffee, pay your
one-stop
PG
shopping.
bill. I'm in that line often.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else, John?
Nope. I'll
Okay.
consider that unresolved for now.
Other business. Okay. We're adjourned.
And you guys get extra credit for staying beyond the hour?
Thank you for staying so long.
They're only required to stay an hour, not more than an hour. So those that stay.
I wondered
the full
about
meeting
that.
Should get extra credit.